Hi guys, I hope that you are all safe and well. Lammas blessings to you on this lovely 1st of August. So I'm just coming on to do this month's tarot scope reading for you all. Now for those of you that do celebrate Lammas, very often this is an opportunity where we bake bread, we have pastries, things like this, and you might sort of put these out as offerings for gods and deities that you might kind of celebrate or honor. You may also find that you create sort of breads and rolls and things and place them upon your altar as offerings, and you might make stuff to eat as well. And it's basically the celebration of what's been sort of harvested so far, and it's the sort of crossing point between the summer solstice into the autumn equinox. So it's a really interesting sort of time period. But I feel a little bit like all the Sabbaths and everything, all the time frames, all the celebrations, because we're not always getting to celebrate them as we would normally do at the moment with the way of the world, everything just feels a little bit disjointed and a little bit confused. But if you are celebrating it today, enjoy it and just embrace it for what it is. I'm probably not going to do any bread making because I am rubbish at baking. I'm definitely not a kitchen witch by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't have a bread maker, but I have seen that there's a recipe that you can do in your slow cook, which I might actually give a go. You can make bread in your slow cooker. So I don't know if anyone's tried that or made that and had sort of successful results with that, but that's something I'm half tempted to have a little bit of a play around with today. So depending on how I feel or how we go, I might have a go at doing that if I don't feel sort of too lazy. But anyway, so as ever, coming on to do August tarot scope, or this month's tarot scope. Can't believe we're in August already. It's just, where are the times and the days going to? Oops, that's just literally fallen on the floor. Okay. I don't think it actually fell out organically. I think it just slipped, so because I hadn't really sort of programmed these, so I'm not going to take that as a card. But I'm going to do the opportunities, the obstacles and the lessons, and then I'm going to follow through with a Blessed Be card by Lucy Cavendish to see what we need to know about at this sort of time. Bear with me guys, my shirt's just riding up there a little bit. That's the problem, I'm getting too fat, so I definitely don't need any more bread, because that's just not going to go down well for me. Okay, so let's see what opportunities August time holds and has in store for us all. And that card that fell on the floor was the Two of Cups, and if it's meant to come out again, then it will show itself. If not, that wasn't meant to be. Oops, that's just swung itself out. Okay. And then any obstacles that we need to be aware of. That's really interesting, the first card, and that literally did sling itself at me. So let's just see. I'm asking these cards to show. Okay, interesting. And then any lessons to be had along the way. And then we'll follow through, like I say, with a Blessed Be. Oops, okay, that's just popped itself out. Right, interesting. We've got some real interesting stuff coming in here. Okay, this is going to be a bit of an interesting time, I think. August, I think, is another one of those time periods when we're kind of having to literally, like, hold on to stuff. We're almost having, it's like this year and the last couple of years have been this helter-skelter kind of roller coaster, and I feel like we're all in our independent carriages just holding on tight for dear life. And August is going to be an extension of that a little bit, I'm not going to lie. So in terms of opportunities, we're going into the Death card. This is really good. This is really positive. Now, I don't think it's necessarily a physical death as such, so don't panic, guys. Usually when the Death card shows, this is sort of suggesting and it's indicating that we've reached a point or there's things happening that have become a little bit unsustainable. And I think if we're being honest with ourselves, the way of the world has been like that for quite some time. Things have become and are being very unsustainable. This format of lockdowns off and on, different things that are happening, we can't survive, we can't continue like that. So change has to happen. Change is inevitable. And because we're looking at this in terms of opportunities, basically the Death card is indicating that aspects of your independent world are now coming to an end. So you're being kind of not necessarily forced to look at, but things are being presented towards you At times maybe it might feel quite aggressive, and basically anything that feels unsustainable in your personal life, you're having to make these adjustments. So there could be some doors that now need to be closed, there could be some disconnections that maybe need to happen, and that could be with physical people in your life, it could be with circumstances or situations, it could just be things that you've outgrown, behaviours. It's not always an actual physical thing we can touch, sometimes it's like a behaviour pattern, but there are definitely things coming to an end. And basically this is closing down all of those doors so that you can walk into something a bit more rewarding, a bit more authentic, a bit more organic, and a bit more truthful. So death is often seen as the card of rebirth. As some doors close, new doors are ready to open. And I always see death a little bit like, you can't forever force your feet into the wrong size shoes. You can get away with it on a short-term basis. It might pinch, it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you can kind of manage, you can get by. But long term, it's unsustainable. And that's really what death is suggesting and saying. So some of us have been feeling and are feeling quite uncomfortable. We're getting pinched, we're getting sort of prodded about with a little bit at the moment, and that is starting to now grow and become quite thin, quite wearing. So it's wanting us all independently to take accountability for how our life really is. It's no more kind of longer accessible or okay to put on a show and to say everything's amazing and great if it actually doesn't feel that way. So this is really kind of encouraging us to be real, to be true, to be honest, and to show up in the vibration that we need to be at this time. We kind of can't go back to old patterns that have become exhausted. Okay, so this is a really kind of clear cleansing, releasing, and moving on card for some of us. And like I say, this is in various places. So it could be that there are physical people that are actually devaluing you at the moment. They're not bringing any high merit or high worth, and they must go. It could be that there are jobs or changes with sort of how you earn your money that have been highlighted recently, and maybe some adaptations need to take place. It could be loads of things. So you will know for yourself where it sits, where it lies. But this is about not fearing anything anymore. It's time to just embrace. Okay. Now, as we're kind of moving forward then, we're going into any obstacles. So we're going into the 9 of Swords. Now, this is really interesting, and I think this is almost an extension of death, because it might be for some of us that we are, even though we know that there's a change coming in here, this can feel a little bit scary. Sometimes people choose to resist the energy of death. So maybe that's happening slightly, but 9 of Swords is basically saying don't fear things, don't get consumed, don't get overwhelmed in your mental mind, don't get overwhelmed in any problems or sort of blockages you're finding yourself in. Try if you can to see past those limitations or those anxieties or those things that you might be going through or that you might be up against. So this is feeling like certainly mentally exhausted. There's so much kind of stuff being kind of carried, being held on to, and when we look at this in terms of obstacles, maybe for some of us we might be challenged a little bit this month, and the mental mind might just feel a little bit consumed, a bit overwhelmed. But even if you feel like you're in a stage of darkness, there's always a way forward. So yes, this person feels a little bit consumed in thought patterns, behaviours, could be some depression or anxieties. You have the shoehorn, which represents and indicates good luck and good fortune, and you have these big old wings, and these wings are wanting to basically set you free from these anxieties, these limitations, these self-doubting energies that maybe you're placing upon yourself, any self-sabotaging that could be going on. So whatever maybe death is trying to free you from, it feels like with this being obstacles, you're fearing what death is trying to gift you. So maybe there needs to be an adjustment of, rather than seeing something as a frustration or an anxiety or a punishment, start to maybe see something as a gift. Maybe this feels a bit scary, a bit, not familiar for you, but actually the universe is maybe gifting you something on higher merit or higher value. Sometimes when we're going through a change, it doesn't always feel like it's a gift in the immediate space, but then as we move forward and we move past that, all of a sudden we get a clear focus or a new appreciation as to why we had to go through something, even if it's not always clear or doesn't always make sense. I've been through loads of things in the past that I've thought, why the bloody hell have I had to go through that? And I've really got sort of cranky and bitchy and arsey with the universe because I felt like I've been punished. But then as time moves on, all of a sudden it becomes clear as to why I maybe had to experience what I did. So it's trying to sort of see the bigger picture, the higher sort of story. And it's not always easy, but that's what this is kind of wanting for you. Sort of step out of your own head, your own ego a little bit, and look at perhaps the bigger picture of why this is happening the way that it is. Then as we're going into lessons, we're going into the Emperor. The Emperor keeps showing up lately. The Emperor is basically about staying true, staying authentic, staying very real to self. Not giving away your power, staying kind of completely true to your beliefs, to your values, to your core line, even if you are around people that don't share the same dreams, the same goals, the same aspirations. The Emperor will always divide opinion, and it's getting to a point in your life where you know that you're good enough to kind of keep singing and dancing to the rhythm, to the beat of your own tune. The Emperor is also quite successful, and sometimes where success comes in, it sometimes kind of creates a trigger process. So people around us that can't celebrate that sort of same level of success try to maybe take, rob or tarnish it. So don't get kind of caught up into locking horns with anybody this month. So maybe for some of us there could be some lessons about behaviours, the giving and receiving, the interactions of that. But the Emperor is encouraging you to hold your vision, hold your quest, and do what makes you happy ultimately. As long as you're not hurting or robbing another person of light, why can't you achieve your goals, your dreams, everything that you want to experience, however big or small those things might be? There's no reason, and your energy shouldn't be affecting anybody else. And if it is, it's reminding yourself the issue, the problem, the blockage lies elsewhere. It doesn't lie with you. It lies with someone's inability to send you love, to send you happiness, and to celebrate you as a person in your successes, however big or small they might be. But sometimes as humans, and we all go through it, we all forget it. I do it a lot sometimes as well. You know, we forget, we drop the ball on ourselves a little bit. We take that personal kind of, stance when it's remembering it's beyond our control. How somebody thinks and sort of receives our energy, we can't control that. All we can do is be accountable for the energy we give out, and as long as we know it's being done from the right vibrations, the rest is out of our hands, you know. So the fact this is lessons, some of us might be challenged a little bit, but try and see it as a lesson as opposed to a punishment, okay? And then you'll be able to overcome, and you'll be ultimately able to stay in your vibration, stay in your power. So really interesting cards with August. I was quite surprised to see these. I thought we'd be maybe having a different story, but I think there's going to be quite a lot of confusion still going on from the outside world, and I almost feel that these cards are suggesting certain people might be, or situations around us might be quite reactive at times. So we've got to be a bit careful not to sort of, feed into that reactivity of everything. So yeah, it is interesting. Okay, so as ever, I'm going to finish with a Blessed Be Oracle and sort of see what we need to know about here, see what it wants to tell us, and hopefully this will also make sense for some of you lovely ones. Oh, nice. A blessing of the air. Okay, don't know if you can sort of see that. So for me, air is really powerful as an element. Air is really good at clearing, cleansing, releasing, letting stuff go. You know, don't kind of become consumed by crap, by garbage, by limitation. Literally go for a walk in the fields, in the woods, along a beach, wherever, even if it's in your own back garden, and just allow the air to clear, to cleanse, to take away, to release some of this heaviness, some of this toxic stuff that maybe some of us are holding on to or carrying. I see this as almost like a spring clean card a little bit, you know, so the air is just coming in to sort of, you know, pull all of that stuff away from us so that we can feel light, we can feel reborn. If you have access to somewhere sort of high up, that's a great place to go when you need to clear and cleanse. So one of the places around here that I love to go to is Clay Hill. And sometimes I go there with Oscar, not always, but sometimes, because, you know, when you get up to the top, when you're up high, that wind and that air is just sort of, you know, rustling and blowing through you, and it's a really good a way to feel connected, to feel alive, and it's just very magical. You know, sometimes people go up to Glastonbury Tor. There's loads of places you could go to, the White Horse in Westbury, but find somewhere maybe that's high up for you in your local area. And if you get the opportunity to, just go have a bit of a connection time, a bit of chill time, and just feel that. And sometimes by going up high, again, because we've taken ourselves out of our comfort zone, we get a new perspective on things, and sometimes that's required as well. So I feel that's also what this is saying. Take yourself out of that immediate problem situation you might find yourself in, and get, you know, new perspective, new focus. So an interesting set of cards, completely different to what I was expecting to come out for August, but lessons to be learned and things to manage, but knowledge is always power, guys. So just to recap, so we know what we've got. Opportunities, death. Don't fear change, just embrace it, go for it, see it as rebirth. Old cycles, old patterns are ending, new beginnings are obtainable and available. Be brave enough to walk through those doors of opportunity. Obstacles, we're going into the Nine of Swords. Don't get consumed too much in darkness, don't get overwhelmed in your headspace. See beyond the problems, the blockages, the limitations. Remember, everything is fixable, you know, within life. It's just how we respond to energy. So don't get consumed in a problem. Find the stepping stones to move past it, to move forward. And the lessons, people may love you, they may hate you. Everyone's going to have an opinion. It only matters if you allow it to. With the power of the Emperor, keep singing and dancing to the beat of your own drum, and, you know, keep being guided by your own sort of shining light. Your own unique magic is going to be key to success here. And a blessing of the air, like I say, don't dwell on stuff, don't hold it in, clear it, cleanse it, let it go. Something that I'm doing a lot of, and I might have told you in a previous video, clear, cancel, reset. That's almost an extension of what I see air to be. So if you put an energy, if you put something out, if you say something to the universe that you wished you hadn't said, or a thought or a feeling, clear it, cancel it, reset, boom, off you go. So best foot forward, guys, this month. Stay safe, stay well, keep shining, and I will catch up with some of you lovelies very soon. Much love. Bye for now.